days, firing several powerful solar flares and plumes of searing hot solar material out into space. On Tuesday, May 13th, a sunspot on the sun's surface called AR 4086 exploded, releasing a powerful X-1.2 class solar flare. It was part of the most intense category of solar flares. Then in the early hours of Wednesday, May 14th, another sunspot named AR 4087 became active and unleashed multiple flares. First, it released an M5.3 flare, followed by a very powerful X2.7 flare, and then an even bigger M7.7 flare just a few hours later. These solar flares released intense radiation that caused radio blackouts on the side of Earth facing the sun at the time. The blackout affected communication in regions including North and South America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. At the beginning of solar cycle 25, the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, along with other experts, predicted that the solar maximum, the period of peak solar activity, would occur around July 2025 with monthly sunspot numbers ranging between 101.8 and 125.2. However, breaking all expectations, solar cycle 25 has already surpassed those predictions, reaching a 13-month smooth sunspot value of 156.7 in August 2024. This surprising spike led many scientists to believe that the sun had already hit its peak in November 2024. But recent solar activity has once again surprised researchers. Now, some scientists believe the solar maximum might not have arrived yet, and instead, we could be heading toward even more intense activity. Experts are warning that massive solar storms could strike in the coming months. On the other hand, a new research has revealed something shocking about the recent strong solar events. Some scientists now suggest that this unexpected strength might be connected to a larger, lesser-known 100-year solar cycle. If this is true, we might be entering a period of even greater solar activity in the decades ahead. And if that happens, Earth could face stronger space weather events, including dangerous solar flares and
I remember Sade is forever, she will be forever remembered as an angel, a light worker who's touched so many souls, so many lives in the Milwaukee community. She is our hero. She is forever leaving an imprint. She walks in her own path, her own light. She solved her own case. My baby solved her own case. That's how I raised my kids. We don't give up. We are fighters. I demanded justice. I stand tall. I stand affirmative. Sade will continue to walk with me daily and right beside me. It's
All right, I guess I couldn't be heard without being on the screen. So you heard from Sade Robinson's mother. She's the mother of the deceased teen girl, Sade Robinson. Just this week, the suspect, Maxwell Anderson, who she went out on a date with, she met him online. He was charged with killing and dismembering her. I too wanted to bring attention to the fact that he was sexually abusing her corpse also. They started off this whole case like, oh yeah, we think he did it. The prosecution was pleading their case. The attorney said, he had to get rid of her. He had to get rid of her. So he cut her to pieces, and that's what he did. And it's like, no, I feel like it was something more sinister behind it because he took time to do this. He absolutely didn't have to mutilate her body the way he did. And for the record, her head still hasn't been found. I don't even know if they found every single part because what they're not doing is letting the public know just how deep this case was. It was a first date, but it was so gruesome and calculated because this guy Max also told someone what he was going to do to her before he even got on the date with her. He told the person he was going to kill her and everything he was going to do. So I'm going to show some of that too. So it just shows to me too how sadistic people are or their company is. Because I mean, you are the company you keep, right? So there's that too. Also want to know yeah, thoughts on this, and I'll show some more video clips. This is Waukegan Council alderman. His name is I'm trying to think of his name, Keith Turner. He is the one that posted online Sade's missing body part that was found. So there was a lot of controversy around him. They feel it was a stunt so that he could run for mayor. He's saying he did it because he wanted to show more transparency in what he would be willing to do and be transparent if he's given this position. Matter of fact, I'm not going to press that one. I need the whole article read. He said, quote, "My only intentions are to seek and provide transformative transparency to Waukegan, especially when the administration goes to extraordinary lengths to restrict information from our residents." So he's feeling like they're restricting information from at least the local people. And that's why he basically leaked that photo. Now, some may feel that's very insensitive because the family did not approve of him doing this. So you can imagine if you have a loved one and they're killed and dismembered, someone put their body part, a photo of it online. So it says right here, though Turner never disclosed how he got the photo of the arm by someone walking around on the Waukegan beach on May 11th, he soon posted it on social media, criticizing Waukegan officials for not being forthcoming about the discovery. So that's his. All right. So that's his reason for doing that. People are probably going to still be pretty different sided on that because that is different for someone to do. But for that type of reason, I know about people taking photos of someone when they're deceased, but then they pass it around in a more sinister way. But you could look either way with that. It's just a tough situation altogether. I'm gonna go to I have some clips to get right to. Also, just to fill in a little more about Sade Robinson, she was a student, a college student, tech student. She also was about to get a raise at work in a higher position. She's friends with one of the people to make that decision. That's how she found out. Well, the friend found out that she was missing. So I'll show a clip from that too, because she called the job because she wanted them to go ahead and give her that promotion. And then that's when they let her know that Sade didn't come into work. And then she said she got scared from that point on. So I'll get right into some video, then I'll come back in with some commentary, and I can finish out with the astronomy piece. All right. co-worker recalls.
And if you could please remain standing and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony
This is basically how it all started.
She was really motivated, and she had big plans.
Based on your friendship with her, did you have her phone number?
Yes.
Do you remember that phone number today?
I don't.
Is that something that you would have shared with the police?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with what type of car she drove?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was a Honda.
Do you remember the color?
I don't. I think it was black.
Had you ever been there?
Yeah.
Can you give us a physical description of Sade?
She was slender, about my height, so shorter, on the shorter side, maybe 5'2", 5'3". Her hair was kind of short, but she wore it all different ways, and sometimes she wore wigs, so it was never really the same.
I'm going to show you exhibits 33 and 34 and ask you if you recognize what's depicted.
Those are Sade.
Photographs?
Yeah.
Those are consistent with what she looked like when you knew her?
Yeah, that's her in her apartment, and that is her when she was on vacation, I think, in Jamaica.
I'd ask that exhibits 33 and 34 be received
Any objection?
No.
They're received.
and published.
Go ahead.
And you knew her well enough to know that she went on a vacation to Jamaica?
Yeah.
And you knew her well enough that you recognize this photograph as having been taken in her residence?
Yeah.
Did you contact law enforcement on April 2nd, 2024?
I did.
Why?
Because I could not reach Sade, and she had not shown up to work that morning, and that wasn't like her, and I was scared.
So she was scheduled to work.
Mhm.
You were at work.
I was not at work.
Okay.
No.
How did you know that she didn't show up?
I messaged somebody at work saying that we had talked a few days before about her possibly getting a raise and a new position, and I messaged somebody at work saying that we should probably go forward with that, and they said she didn't come to work today.
Okay, and you're referencing your employment at the Pizza Shuttle.
Yes.
What was your position there?
Management.
And what was Sade's?
She worked cash register and answered phones.
Do you remember how long she had worked there?
If I had to guess, between 3 and 4 years, it had been a while.
You said that her not coming to work was very unusual
Very unusual.
and that you were scared.
I was.
Why?
Because it wasn't, I mean, if she was even going to be late, she would text me or call. And when I messaged her, I said, please just text me and let me know you're okay, because she doesn't have to come to work. She doesn't have to answer her phone. But I just wanted her to let me know that she was okay, and I knew she would if she could. And when she didn't, I got very scared.
You tried to call her?
I did.
And what happened when you did that?
I think it went to voicemail. Otherwise, it just rang and rang.
What else did you do?
I texted her, and I went by her apartment.
What did you do at her apartment?
I just pulled into the parking lot, looked for her car, didn't see it, spun around, sat there for a minute, hoping that I'd see her, and when I didn't, I drove home.
Did you go into the building at all?
I did not, no.
Do you recall seeing any social media that Sade would have posted the night before?
I did not until the next day.
Okay. So was that on April 2nd that you saw some social media?
That would have been on April 3rd. I don't really use social media, but I saw it on somebody else's phone the next day.
Okay, what did you see?
It was a Snapchat.
And what was it? Was it a photograph?
It was not, no. It was a Snapchat from a bar on Water Street, I think, where she was playing.
So I want to show some footage of her and this Max guy when they were at the bar. Like I said, this case was downplayed. I think a lot. They didn't really say everything, and they should have. Within hours, she was dead. They met around 9, left the bar around 11. Also, like I was saying, Sade was only 19 years old. So it's also no wonder her family is suing the bar because they served her alcohol and she's underage for that. So this is some footage of when they met. And you'll see Sade not wanting to drink anymore. She had like maybe 1 or 2 drinks, maybe tops. Um, the bartender passes them some shots. She refuses, like, she just has her hand like, no, that's okay. So they was really showing how she wasn't all intoxicated. She wasn't all over the place. She was far from that. Um, it looks like she was totally taken advantage of as soon as she got to Anderson's house.
You could read it. The next clip picks up at what time?
18:04 hours and 54 seconds.
Cheers. So very nice to meet you. Maxwell, pleasure to see you. Like I said, I talked to you on the phone. I'm like, but I was doing not bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Young ladies,
All right, and in that clip that just ended, that was about a 2-minute clip, give or take. What did we observe?
Observed the bartender make some type of alcoholic beverage, and then the three of them, he pours the beverage into 3 shot glasses, and the 3 of them do the shot together.
Okay, so he gives that shot to both Sade and Mr. Anderson.
That's correct, yes.
I'm gonna advance a little bit here. Next clip picks up at, what time do we got?
18:21 hours and 16 seconds.
All right, so just a few minutes after they just did the other shot?
Correct.
Okay.
So again, too, there's graphic uh, nature of wording with this case. I'm going to show something where they're going to talk about Maxwell Anderson's phone. In the beginning, they didn't mention anything about this, but he took photos of her body in the house, which reminded me a lot of Jeffrey Dahmer's. They had a lot of similarities with fantasizing over their victim, getting with the victim, going on a date, intoxication type of thing, to then taking photos and then indecent photos. He was pulling her clothes off and taking photos of her body parts before he removed them. So right now we're going to go into his phone. Excuse me, just a second.
A warning for our viewers: some of the details of this case and the content of the images we're going to be showing might be disturbing for some viewers. The way prosecutors describe these images, they're of a black woman in a compromising position inside Maxwell Anderson's home. First mentioned during opening statements, it was some of the last evidence the jury got to see. Photos from Maxwell Anderson's phone, confiscated during his arrest. One image we had to blur completely for television. It shows a person's bare behind, their underwear and jeans pulled down.
And why was this of note to you?
Because Sade was wearing light colored pants along with a light color underwear that was recovered.
Another image, too graphic to show in its entirety. What we can share is the cream-colored sweater the person is wearing, like the one Sade Robinson wore on her date with Maxwell Anderson. The person is face down on a couch, similar to the couch in Anderson's living room. And there's a hand on the person's exposed breast.
Which breast is exposed? Left or right?
Believe the right.
Notable because, according to prosecutors, Robinson's recovered torso was missing the right breast. Lasting images and information as the prosecution closed its case. Their witnesses would offer the last testimony, as the defense chose not to call a single witness, confirming Maxwell Anderson would not take the stand.
Has anyone, including your lawyers, made any promises to you or offered you anything to arrive at this decision?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone, including your lawyers, threatened you or coerced you in any way to arrive at this decision?
No.
Do you believe you're making this decision freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And the judge reminded jurors they cannot hold that decision not to testify against Maxwell Anderson. The defense team is not obligated to prove their client's innocence. The question for jurors to answer is if prosecutors met their burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm going to now show a disturbing video because it's Sade Robinson's blanket, and it was overlooked, but the family found it. I think the family helped solve her murder. Her own mother says that she feels her deceased daughter solved her own murder. Police were looking in the area. They found another body part, and they took it and collected it. The family went out after them to the same area and found a blanket, a large blanket with photos of Sade all over the blanket. Pink, pretty blanket. That was her favorite color, was pink. And how did the family find something that they all walked right past? Really doesn't make any sense, other than this is part of the problem. This is why things go unsolved, because a lot of times people just really don't even be giving a damn.
Of kind of walking into that particular section of the wooded area on the 6th where we located those items I spoke about.
Are you familiar with this building?
Not very.
Okay. Do you know what street that's on?
That should be south-facing Galena.
Showing you 164. What is that?
That is evidence marker 1, which is I placed next to the pink blanket.
Exhibit 165.
It's another view of evidence marker 1 and the pink blanket.
Do you recall if the blanket was wet or had it appeared to have been moved at all?
It was pretty saturated from being out on the ground. In the state we found it is how it was photographed. Yes.
Can you describe that area in terms of what all is there?
It was approximately 5:10 p.m.
Where did you meet the friends?
Just in the general area of, like, inside the small park on 31st and Galena.
Then what happened?
After they briefed with me, they took me to the area where they located the pink blanket and showed it to me, and I viewed that myself.
Was there one particular person in particular who you were speaking to?
Yes.
What was that person's name?
I believe her first name was Angela.
Did you document this conversation and contact in a report?
Correct.
Would it help you to review your report?
Yes.
Up with the name? Why don't you take a look at this and let me know if it's helped?
All right, that's not important for us. I want to show the information on this informant is the one that helped with this case too. But they also didn't speak up. Maybe Sade would still be alive.
Reportedly planned her death weeks in advance. Sade Robinson was last seen alive on a dinner date in Milwaukee with Maxwell Anderson. Their first date seen here in surveillance images from WITI TV. Cell phone records show that they ended up at Anderson's house, and then she was never heard from again. The next day, someone found a severed leg in a nearby park belonging to Robinson. Anderson is now accused of killing, dismembering, and leaving Sade's body parts all over Milwaukee. WISN television reports that a friend of Anderson's is now a confidential informant in the case. He told police that Anderson showed him a room in his basement where he planned to kill Sade. The search warrant indicated a plastic tarp covered a sanitation sink, and 3 saws were found in the room. The informant
So y'all heard that. How are you going to tell somebody that you're going to go and kill someone and show them where you're going to do it? What type of person held that information in, waited till he did it, and then became an informant on giving up information?
Sanitation sink and 3 saws were found in the room. The informant told police that Anderson planned on shooting Robinson and then dismembering her body in the room before disposing of her body throughout the city. Now, the defense has denied that these claims have any relevance and that this informant has any information. Let's bring in to discuss attorney and law professor Dante Mills and forensic death investigator, professor and host of the Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, is with us. Thank you both for sticking around with us. Joseph, I'm going to start with you. We've got this search warrant that is showing things that were recovered inside of the home. A P-trap from the sanitary tub in the basement, a pipe in the laundry area, swabs of stain and cushions on a leather couch with different debris. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff from inside of the house. How is this, in your opinion, going to be connected and put in front of a jury to indicate that this was, in fact, something that was planned out and that it connects to Sade Robinson?
I don't want to step on my colleagues' toes here relative to and get too far off into the law relative to this, but I have to say that if anything smacks of premeditation, this does. This individual is purposed, and we do know this relative to dismemberment cases. You need privacy for this, and what many people don't understand is that when you have cases of dismemberment, it is arguably one of the most messy affairs that an individual perpetrator can engage in because of all of the physical evidence that's left behind. It requires a lot of preparation. You have to have knowledge, and then all those things that you don't account for, particularly at even a molecular level of the things that you're leaving behind. I don't want to be too grotesque, but when you think about, say, for instance, even elements of bone that are left behind as a result of sawing, undetected blood, for instance, and even skin tissue, hair, those sorts of things. And the fact that things would be lined with plastic goes to this idea that he was mindful of this. And I got to tell you, it really sends a chill up my spine because it's hard for me to fathom that this would be his first time out of the gate. relative to something like this. And maybe it's just something he's been planning for a while, and he started with this poor young lady. I have no idea, but this would have taken time and purpose.
There are many people who are poised listening to see if there are going to be any connections between this defendant and any other unsolved cases, because even in his home, there was women's clothing that was located in the beams. There was this bedazzled compact mirror that seemed to belong to a woman. So there are these and names in a notebook. So there's this possibility, but we can't go there until we hear from police if they've got a connection. Dante, can you speak to where this defense is right now? Because you've got this informant.
All right, so thanks for joining me. This is Kiy NY7. I talk about things to do with the community, spirituality, sexuality, and astros. Please consider subscribing, hitting like. Those things do help the algorithm and helps the channel all around. There's an open chat room. Y'all very quiet today. That's fine. But this is why these things keep going on, because no one wants to speak up or speak out about it or give their view. All right, so back to I wanted to show. Let me show one more thing, and I can show a thing with the sun. Okay. There was footage of them at the bar. I did that. No, it was when they were leaving. What was it? I was trying to think if there was another key moment that I did want to share with y'all. Let me just go back to it.
That is the entranceway or front entrance, I guess, for Victor's Bar nightclub.
This is one of the clips you retrieved?
It was.
Move 280 in.
Any objection?
No.
Received.
All right. On these two clips, what are we going to see in some?
In one of the clips, we will see Miss Robinson enter the bar and then go off screen. And then in another clip, we will see Mr. Anderson and Miss Robinson appear to exit the bar and go off screen.
On one of these clips, are you able to see the date briefly?
Yes.
I got the wrong clip up. I'm sorry. I'm starting with the clip that ends in the number 1785. All right, I have it paused at 3 seconds. This clip is 34 seconds. Camera person zoomed out. Are you able to see the date and time?
All right, I don't really need that. Okay, I don't really need that last part. Dang. Okay. All right, so I guess you get the drift of what I've been saying. This was very gruesome. Like they said, it took time, calculation. I did see where they were wondering. Someone mentioned another young woman's name. I have to find it because I started looking into her case too to see if there was any possible connection. But when they say that they found women's clothes too, just watching it right now in real time just brought that to my attention as well. Like I didn't realize that too. So I see why this Maxwell Anderson man could in fact be linked to other violence or even murders against other women. Whew. This was a lot. On his phone, maybe I'll do that. That could be the last thing for me. On his phone, they found, let me see, I'm gonna go right to it now. Like I said, they found images and, second. This is what they didn't really bring to light and they really should have, because some of the photos he took, like one of them, they said, oh, she was sitting up, like as if she was posing for him. But then they're like, but what about these where her face is pushed into the cushion, into the couch, and her clothes, you could tell, were pulled down by like someone else. So there's that part of it too. I'm gonna just show this and then I'll do the sun and then we'll close out. This week I had some things, well, coming up, I had some things with the ICE raids in LA. Some things to talk about. Drug demons are demons in drugs, the way people act and things like that. There's just something about that. I want to talk about that. And there's something else. I'll bring it up in a minute though.
confiscated at the time of his arrest, giving some insight into what happened inside his Southside home the night of April 1st, 2024.
So you were able to tell that in the 10 o'clock hour, it looks like on 5 occasions, the camera on the phone was activated?
Correct.
Those images?
They are photos that I found within the download of Mr. Anderson's phone.
Way too graphic to show on television, but were shown to the jury Thursday. One depicting a person's bare backside with underwear and jeans pulled down.
Why was this of note to you?
Because Sade was wearing light colored pants along with a light color underwear that was recovered.
Then they saw this one, a black woman with a cream colored sweater like the one Robinson was wearing that night, laying face down on a couch like the one in Anderson's living room. The image shows a hand grabbing her exposed breast.
Which breast is exposed? Left or right?
Believe the right.
The jury knows from previous testimony, Robinson's right breast was severed from her torso.
I don't know if she's alive or dead or sleeping. I can't tell from this photo.
A digital forensic investigator testifying what happens around 12:05 a.m. to some of the images on Anderson's phone.
Based on the time frame and when the phone itself actually has in the actual timeline itself, the next actions that happen within that system is deletion.
The expert says Anderson's phone not used the rest of those early morning hours.
So from 12:08 a.m. to 8:59 a.m., are you saying that there was no human user manipulation of the phone?
Yes, there was absolutely no human user interaction.
The defense.
People delete photos for a variety of reasons, right?
Correct.
Glossing over the deleted images, but focusing on what the phone analysis did not show.
And you didn't see any searches regarding how to, dismember a body, correct?
I did not.
Or you didn't see any searches about how to clean up blood, correct?
I did not.
Or how to dispose of a body, right?
Correct, I did not.
Very difficult details to hear there, Hannah. The digital forensic investigator also analyzed Anderson's computer hard drive.
Right, and it did show some activity around 12:05 a.m. as those photos on Anderson's phone were being deleted. That activity comes from a Netflix account. That account started to show a show called Love, Death, and Robots, and then 3 Body Problem. And then there was no human activity on that hard drive after 12:30 a.m.
If you have to get up, you can do that.
Sure, I'll get up quick.
Okay. And then come back to the microphone, please.
Yes, I'm able to see the date.
What was it?
That is, excuse me, 03/29/2024 at 11:37 and some seconds p.m.
All right. Playing this clip. What do you see?
In the back right of the frame, I see Miss Robinson entering the bar.
She says hello to a bouncer or somebody?
It would appear to be a bouncer, yes.
Okay, so this was just showing them out, like I had already mentioned, and then some other people that were just out. At this point, I want to get to the verdict. This was a heavy case. Even me just looking into it, it feels like it weighs you down a bit, which is how the juror expressed themselves to one of them and said it was a heavy case and it was tough on the people's emotions. Oops. All right, let me go.
May I have your name and number for the record?
Juror number 1,
And you did sign these 4 verdicts and date them today?
I did.
Thank you. I will now read them into the record. As to count 1, the verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. As to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. As to count 3, we, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of arson of property other than a building as charged in count 3 of the information. As to count 4, We, the jury, find the defendant, Maxwell Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged in count 4 of the information. At this point, I will poll the jury. What that means is as follows. I'm going to have the first juror stand in the back row on the far right. I'm going to ask you your juror number, and I'm going to ask you, stand and your juror number?
45.
Juror 45, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Next juror. Juror 23, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Juror 29.
Juror 29, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror 47, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror 3, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Juror 42, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. Front row.
Number 5.
Juror 5, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 1.
Juror 1, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you.
Number 52.
Juror 52, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror 40.
Juror 40, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror number 21.
Juror 21, were these and are these your verdicts?
Yes.
Thank you. Juror 36, were these and are these your verdicts? Thank you. State, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes.
Defense, are you satisfied with the polling?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then at this point in time, your service is complete. You are done for 4 years. At this point, you are free to talk to anyone you choose or speak to no one. It is completely in your discretion at this point in time. I will come back to the jury room and speak with you in about 2 minutes, okay? Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll be right back. Thank you. Motions.
State moves for judgments of conviction on counts 1 through 4, and I move the court to remand the defendant.
Move for judgment of acquittal on all 4 counts.
That was a conclusion of Sade Robinson. She was a teenager that went on a date with the guy she met online and ended up being murdered and dismembered just within hours of their date, the first and only date. She had severed body parts, which weren't just to cover up the murder. I believe he was exposing her for his own pleasure. There was photos in his phone of her partially nude with his hand on her body and all kind of stuff like that was found. It was premeditated. There was an informant that said that they were told what his plans were before he did them. So that just shows too how instead of coming forth with information, you'll have people that'll just sit there and not say anything, and that's horrible. Other than that, like I said, she was a teenager. She was just about to get a promotion at work, which is how they found out that she was something was wrong because she was missing from work. And they said that's not like her. Yeah, so just like I said, I'm glad he was convicted of it. The charges were first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson. Her car was set on fire. There was some footage of that just off distance, so you couldn't see it up close. Her underwear and clothing that she was last seen wearing and tears from the front of her pants were in that car. And like I said, I just feel like most of all, they're downplaying this tragedy. And I just hope for peace within her family, her loved ones, as this case closed out this week. Her head still hasn't been found. They never mentioned that early on that she was beheaded, that so much mutilation took place. They tracked where Maxwell Anderson was driving, because first he drove her car around for a while. then he set it on fire, and he went out on the beach with her body, and they believe that that's where he dismantled her body. I also showed you guys the other part of the live stream was about the sun and a large sunspot and how it's been disrupting communications. That affects everyone. You may think it doesn't affect you, but in time it probably will. So global warming is very important to be paying attention to. I showed some footage of that too and some pictures and whatnot. So again, I'm Kiy NY, and I appreciate y'all coming through. Coming up this week, at some point, I wanted to do another content on here regarding one of the inmates from Louisiana who's still on the loose. His mother, his mother had a parole board hearing, and he was there as well. So I want to show some footage from that, and just show too that they it just seems like they have a family history of things going on. He had a father that passed away, his mother was locked up, and there's just like a bunch of stuff with that. So I do want to show some of that too. And it's generational incarceration, I think. So I got that coming up, and yeah, so that'll be that. Now I mentioned drug demons. I got that coming up too. Yeah, I'm not sure how I want to do it, but I got to put some stuff in for the ICE thing because there's a lot of live footage that I wanted to show too. I finally saw a politician there, Maxine Waters, so I had some footage of that I could show also. There's a lot going on in LA, definitely. So yeah, so okay. All right. You know what has nothing to say? Okay, fine. Okay. And it's appreciated. Those that did come through quietly or whatever. Helps hit the like button. Subscribe if you think you have something here that may be of your interest. And I'm pretty sure you will find something here on my channel. I'm Kiy NY7. I hope you all have a good day and just be safe. I have my own views too on modern dating. Even if it was years ago, it's just weird. It's not worth it. It's just so dangerous. I want to close out Playing Dangerously by boy Bounty Killer. Isn't Maxi Priest too? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. A lot of people do it, either flirting behind the scene, or stuff like that. But it's just, you just want to be careful. You cannot be too careful these days. I don't think you can. So it's just not worth it. Tell people where you are. If you're going out on a date with somebody, you can save your own life. Let people know you'll check in with them when you get home, or, just something. Have a little buddy system set up. You might as well. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
I mean